Reason to OCM? Go see them. OCM Mortgage. We're family oriented.
Did you know that Wayside Waves takes in over 12,000?
Hi, Gigi. This is a bunch of stuff that I found on Southwest Trafficway, and must have fell out of somebody's car or truck or whatever, but I went by and picked it up. Now, welcome to my home. Take a little tour here as soon as I turn out this porch light. Okay. Well, I'm making some chili here. That's not the only thing that I'm making. I also will come back out here now. And I've also made some, this is some Indian cauliflower soup, so I'm waiting for that to cool. Got my 3 cars here in the driveway. Every single person ought to have at least 3 cars anyway. There's my motorcycle. That's out there. There's the shed that I put up. Barbecue grill that I found someplace. This is my canopy here to keep the cars out of the weather during the weather months. Now we'll come back in and we'll play just like we coming in for the first time. Gigi came down to greet us. Hi, Gigi. Yes, what a good girl you are, baby. Do you want to come in, honey? Come on. Yes. You want to come in? Come on. You want to come in? Okay. You want to come in? Okay. Alright, now we'll pretend like we're coming in for the first time here. And here's our cooking surface where we've been preparing some food. And here's our new juicer that we just bought yesterday. And here is another Sony camcorder that was part of the stuff that I found by the side of the road. And I know the person who owns this is going to miss it as bad as if I did. So I'm going to try to... I've looked in everything and there is no name anywhere. So I'm going to see if somebody actually maybe registered that thing. Well, here's my cleanup area. And as you can tell, it needs to be cleaned up. Over here is our pantry of food selected items that we make our wonderful gourmet things from. And here's my little area where the kitties have their gourmet meals. This is where I put some of my shit. Got that from the Experimental Aircraft Owners Association when I gave a presentation to them about hearing loss and flying. Here is our laundry area right there. This is the wine area over here. No, I'm not a sommelier, but you know, if it's on sale, buy it. This is my plastic bag storage area. And this is my other stuff storage area right there. And then this is my other stuff storage area over there. And this is the kitchen table. This is where I eat. Actually, right here, this is where I eat because of all of that other stuff. Some movies I've been watching. Right over here. Excellent movie. Really good. See it if you ever get a chance. Haven't seen that one, but that was recommended by the librarian. That was a good film. And a Chinese film about a boy musician. And this was good. Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke reuniting once again. And then here's my Pilates for Beginners exercise tape. Here's a partial working copy of my Christmas card that I sent out this year. Oh, a couple more movies that I checked out. And then that one of my all-time favorites, Tom Jones. Okay. Been listening to my scripture therapy tape, trying to figure out why I've been so depressed. This is the mail that I've gotten for probably the past couple of months that I'm going to try to work to get to see about it. Okay. My health section where I have all my vitamins. Now here into the living room. Hello, Casey. How are you, baby? Wave hi to people. Come on, that's it, honey. Just take your little paw and go, hello, hello. Well, I guess he didn't want to wave too much. This is part of my shoe collection over here. Right there. And then all of this stuff here. This is my Mexican cowboy hat and my Mexican cowboy shirt. Wore that the other day when I went and had lunch with Fred on, I think it was New Year's Day. And part of my record collection. There's 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 part of my record collection. And then over here, there's part of my record collection. All of those. This is my recording section where I tape all of the, or copy all of the tapes that I make, right over here. Okay. There's the picture of Jesus that was hanging on the wall when I was growing up. And this is where I sleep, right over here. And this is where I stick stuff. There's some more of my record collection. Part of my book collection over here. Down over there. Part of my incense collection. And that stuff over there. Now, we'll go upstairs. Oh, I want to show you the bathroom first. Here's the bathroom. That's my catch kit collection right there in that bag. Here's my towel that I strained the potatoes in the other day when I was making kluski. Yes, that's right. Okay. Let's go upstairs and I'll show you my collection of other stuff here. This is my collection of everything that was left over when Mom and Dad lived here. This was Dad's bedroom. Right now I got all kind of stuff in here. And all of that. Look at that. Now this is the used to be my mother's bedroom, which is now my computer room, and my various and sorted sundry other types of things. There's part of my book collection over there. Part of my prepaid legal collection stuff over there. And this is more of my book collection over here. Yep. And this is another part of my shoe collection over there. It's another part of my tie collection. Part of my Christian tape collection. More of my book collection over here. Part of my software collection. And let's see, this over here is part of my everything else collection. Stuff that I have just brought from everywhere. And I'm still trying to figure out where to put it. And I don't really know. And so this is it right here. I go stir my chili before it burns here. Look at that. I can stir my chili with one hand and hold the camera with another. I'm ambidextrous here. Okay, the other thing I want to show you here is the basement.
From the Salieri Chamber Orchestra and Thomas Paul.
Hey, Salieri. Okay, well this is the stuff leading down to the basement here. That's another part of my food stuff. And this is the stuff that's behind the door stuff. Okay, let's come down here and we'll take a look and see what all we got. Lot of stuff. Okay, turn on that light again. Come back over here. That's a saw that a guy gave me when I was working at the recycling center. And okay, this is our home repair tool section. This is a bunch of tile that I got that was one of my neighbors was getting rid of, so I thought, hey, you know, better take that. You never can't tell when you're going to need it. And okay, this is my basement stuff collection. A lot of stuff down here. It's all good stuff too. Wouldn't want to part with any of it, you know. God, you just never know when you're going to need this stuff. So, wonder who I got that from. Wonder if I got that from my mother. This is part of her collection of paper cups and entertaining stuff for all the people who used to come over. Funny thing, since Mom died, hasn't been anybody came over. Okay, now this is stuff that I brought over from my other place. Okay. And right over here. This is my collection of stuff that I'm trying to sort through to get everything cleaned out here. Got stuff over there. Sure do. And you know, just yeah, I try to be prepared for any contingency. Here's the generator that I got for that time when the electricity goes off, so that I'll have power. And so far the power's gone off about 2 or 3 times, and I don't have this thing hooked up and running yet. There's my sandwich maker that I got from Roberta Schultz down in Butler. This thing is so wonderful. I used to go to the Main Street Deli when this guy Paul owned it, and he would make hot pastrami sandwiches on there, and he'd get down there and you'd fill this thing up with water, and then you'd press this a couple of times, and then it would steam the sandwich and make it really hot. And then when I saw that Roberta had one, and her place looks about like this, I asked her what she was going to do with it, and she says probably the people in her family didn't want it, so she was willing to part with it, and I think I gave her $25 or $30 for that. Haven't used it yet, but you know, one day. Okay. Let me turn off the light here. Okay. Over here, it's my dad's meat slicer. And this was the refrigerator that used to be upstairs until I bought that other one. And then I bought a freezer for down here. I mean, a single guy needs at least 2 refrigerators and a freezer. And that's more stuff over there that we got. Here's my, I forget what you call it. It's a contractor saw. And here's part of my clothes over there. And then that's the drain pipe from the washer and dryer upstairs that I put up for Mom when she was no longer able to easily go up and down the steps. And there's my old vacuum cleaner. Here's the shower that I built for my mother and father. Put that in. And actually built all of this stuff over here for them. So, well, I think that pretty much is the tour here. Let me turn off these lights. What is that thing doing open over there and getting cold air in? I gotta go close that. Okay, well, let's go back upstairs here. And this is more of the food stuff. Over here. And what I'm getting ready to do here now is
every day she worries
to go
about paying
through
bills and hopes no one gets sick because she has
clean
no
this
health
stuff.
care plan. She's worried because she'll
it
need to
is
provide 2 additional
somewhat
meals
of a
day.
mess, and I'm
Children will receive
actually getting tired of walking around and
people like Sarah.
trying to step over the little coupas of shit every place. So that's the project. It's the new year, and I'm going to get this done. And tape ran out, so what I wanted to do is just take a time to go ahead and change this, and then I'll go ahead and give you the rest of the tour here. Right over here, this is the picture collection right over here. There again is another picture of my mother and my father. They're older there. And right there is a picture of my grandparents, my father's mother and father. And then there's a picture of my parents when they were even older. This is my daughter, Stephanie. This is my son, Austin. This is Stephanie and her husband, Ron, and their child. God, you would ask me his name, wouldn't you? I forgot. Then there's Stephanie again when she was much younger. Okay, there he is. His name is Sean, right there. And then there he is with his sister, Lacey, and she was quite premature, but doing extremely well now. That is Lacey right there. That is my brother Larry. And that's me right there. So, say hi, David. Hi! Let's see here. These are some things here that that I got. I actually got them for my cousin. Things your mother always told you, but you didn't want to hear, and isn't that the truth? Look at that. Real friends are those who, when you made a fool of yourself, don't think you've done a permanent job. And then, what's the last one here? Last one's blank. The opera's not over till the fat lady sings. Rush Limbaugh used to have her on there, and she would sing. Look at that. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Isn't that the truth? The problem is not the problem. The problem is my attitude about the problem. Well, that's kind of an interesting thing here, and we'll get into that a little bit. This is my really big clock right there, and got that for $5.99, and it makes a noise when the alarm goes off, but I don't have time to do that now. Hi, Gigi. Hi, baby. Say hi to everybody. Okay, you gonna wave? Hello, hello, hello. There she. That's how I met Gigi. I was standing in the yard of a friend of mine, and went up to. I was talking to another friend, and we were standing next to this riding lawnmower. I was out there cutting the grass, and the next thing I look up at the top of the hill, and there is this cat looking down. And then I turn around and I talk to this guy some more. And then the next thing I know, this cat is standing on sitting on top of the lawnmower, and she's turned over like this. So, here, just a moment. Okay, I'll rub you here, okay? But she's one of the few cats that I've ever seen that just, will come up and lay down and expose their belly to you. But she just loves that. And she's about, Gigi, how old are you? Let's see, Dad, I don't know. You never told me. In the Julian calendar, whatever that means. But, so, she came to live with me. And Gigi, I think, is probably close to 3 years old now, something like that. And I had her for about a year by herself when I decided that she really needed a companion because I was gone quite a bit during the day. And so I started looking out and I was trying to find another cat, and that's when I found Casey here. She was just, I don't know, maybe a week or two or something like that old. And I saw her out in the alley behind the house. And I chased after her and I caught her going through one of those chain link fences and pulled her through. And then I brought her home and I stuck her out on the back porch, which is screened in. And then I tried to socialize her, and it took me about 2 weeks, and it never really happened too well. So I let her sit out there for a couple of weeks. And when I went, a friend of mine suggested, well, you got a cat like that, probably the thing that you ought to do before you bring her into the house is to take her to the vet. So I decided, well, I was going to have to catch her first. And so I went up and went out there on the back porch, and there was a lot of different furniture and stuff like that. And what happened was I cleared a lot of it out so that she didn't have any place to run and hide behind and underneath. And also, one of the, there was like a suspended ceiling there on the porch. Well, shit, let me just go show you, okay? The reason that, well, you get into multiple layers of stories here. What happened here is that most doors have windows, but this one doesn't have a window because I came home from my uncle's wake one night. He had died, and I went there to church and to the funeral house to see him. And I come home and I find this window broken, and somebody had broken into the house and stole a video camera, stole a brand new DVD player that I didn't even have out of the box yet, and my company laptop computer. Well, anyway, this is like the suspended ceiling out here on the porch. You can see this is all screened in. Well, what had happened was I had moved a lot of this stuff out, and I went to get the cat. Well, all of a sudden she ran up that screen right there. There was a ceiling tile that was missing. She jumped up out onto there, got into the suspended ceiling, and I had to end up taking all of this stuff down over here just to be able to get that cat out of there. And it was just a mess. And so no, Gigi, get back in, okay? Come on. No porch time for you. house is not particularly very well insulated, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a draft coming through right there. I know you can't feel it. This is not feel-o-vision, but please take my word that there is a very strong draft. And if I don't put this stuff in front of it, then the cats will come and pull it out and then make a mess. That's the TV antenna that I use when I watch television. I had cable, but I switched over to satellite from there, and after that I just things happened, and I decided no, I wasn't going to have any more of that. So I had the satellite disconnected. I was going to stop watching as much shit as I did. So that's why I don't have that. And I do have a DVD player here. And there's my other VCR, and there's I don't have a picture within a picture. I have two TVs, so that if I want to watch something else or record something else at the same time I'm watching something else, I can do that. Now this is a picture of Santa Claus here. I don't, you probably recognize him. And let's see. This is my cold weather trickle charger here that I got. This is one of my ties. It's kind of a nice tie, don't you think? Let's show you some of my other ones here. Hang that up. And let's see, we'll get over here where the light is so that you can see them better. This is the back end of the tie, not the front end, but the well, okay, now that one's got the front end of the tie, but that's a back end there. But at least you can see the patterns here. I like this one. I wear this one when I have a I'll wear a what will I wear? Black pants and a brown shirt, and that goes well with that. And then I have this other one that I wear that with. And then I got a money tie, but you got to be real careful when you wear that. I work as a hearing aid instrument specialist, and so I sell people hearing aids. And when you wear ties that have $100 bills on there, they think that you're basically money hungry and that they're not going to buy hearing aids from you, and all you're out to do is make money. And then of course they can hear, but they don't care about that either. Otherwise they would have done it 10 years ago. Oh, look at this, my Three Stooge tie. Isn't that nice? I love those guys. They're great. This right over here is something that I downloaded from the internet, and then this is a book that was loaned to me by the lady who's going to be teaching me how to play the cello. So I'm going to be taking my first lesson next Monday. Yeah, next Monday. Okay. Here is a wonderful lamp that I found at a thrift store right there. And let's see here. Look at that. Oops. That was my hair stuff. And then this is a clock that I found in a thrift store. If you haven't been able to guess by now, you know that I go a lot to thrift stores, as you can see. So I really have such a good time when I go there. It's been one of those things where when I used to live in Mount Shasta, I would go to the dump, and people would throw things away, and I would go rescue them. And I guess that's how I got started in recycling. I'm actually giving very serious consideration to starting a thrift store business, and I went online the other day and got some information about that. This is a very rare book here by Ann Wigmore, Recipes for Longer Life. And some of the things that it has a recipe for in here. Let's see here. Tells you how to make your own Rejuvenac liquid here. And the whole concept behind her is that you eat living foods. So here we go. To make Rejuvenac, you'll need 1 cup of wheat berries. I got those downstairs, and then 3 cups of spring or filtered water, and a glass jar with a wide mouth here. And then you've got all the instructions here on how to do that. And this tells you how to sprout, which is a really good thing to do. People in California do that. This is sort of a California type thing. Excuse me for interrupting that this previous segment here, but something came up, and I wanted to show you this. I was sort of been in the process of making some święconka soup. And what that is that's it's a Polish soup that they serve at Easter, and the way that you make it is that you take Polish sausage and then you cook it in water, and after the sausage is cooked, you remove it and you save that broth, and to it you slice up some sausage, and then you get a hard cooked egg, or several of them actually, and then you slice them like in an egg slicer, and you bring the broth up to a boil, and then you thicken it a little bit with a slurry, which is a combination of an equal parts amount of flour and water. And then you dribble that into the broth, which already has some of the fat from the sausage. And then when you get it to a very light consistency, then you add the egg and you add the slices of sausage and a little bit of vinegar. And that is a very traditional Polish Easter soup. Well, I was recently making some kluski, which is a Polish potato dumpling, and I had some of the broth left over, and I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variation on a theme of święconka soup. And so here's what I did. Let me get it for you here. Okay, that right there. Let me get it to you here. It's going to be kind of hard to tip the pan, but without spilling it all over. But basically what I've got here is I've taken the broth, or the water that I cooked the kluskis in, and basically what you do is you take a potato and you grate it, and then you drain out all the water, and that's where that rag that you saw in the bathroom a little bit ago, I put the potato in there, and then I squeezed all of the juice out of there, and then I mixed it with a little flour and some egg and put it into boiling water. Well, part of the potato sort of dissolves and it gets into the liquid. So what I thought, well, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a different type of święconka soup, and I'm going to use the broth from the kluski water, And that was kind of nice and thick, and it had a fairly prominent potato flavor. So I took some of the sausage and sliced that up, and sliced up some of the Kluskis in there. And so I was getting ready to put the egg in when I thought, hey, I'll give you a helpful little tip here. A lot of people don't know how to tell the difference between a hard-cooked egg and a raw egg. And I had a hard-cooked egg in the fridge, but I got to thinking about this, and I thought, well, yeah, you probably want to know this. How can you tell the difference between an egg that is hard-cooked and one that is just raw? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to discern the difference. Okay, you take an egg and you spin it like that. Okay, and that's what happens. Now you take the other one and spin it. Well, you could see this egg goes up and travels much like a top. Okay, well, that is how you tell the difference between a hard-cooked and a non-cooked egg, is that the raw egg will come up on the top and spin like that, and the cooked egg will it does that. Okay, so let me show you here. Get my plate, and we'll get this knife here, and so this is how you do it. Well, I think that it actually goes the other way, is that the cooked egg is the one that comes up on the top like that. Let's see here. Well, here, let me move this so you can see me. Fill this. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now, it's been in the fridge for a while. I hope it's still good. Anyway, what you do is you take a, just a typical standard Walmart style slicer, and then you just slice it like that. Okay, here, hold on. Okay, and then what you do is you just put the egg in the soup like this. And what you have here now is a Święconka soup Mark 1 Mod 2. Okay, now here are some pieces of Polish sausage. They call that kielbasa. And then in here, that is a piece of a sliced dumpling. Let me show you a whole one. Okay, this is a whole Kluski right there, and it's got some bacon and sautéed onion stuck to it. But what you do is, after you cook these things and after they come up to the top, so that they're floating, then you dry them off, rinse them off, and then you fry them with the onion and with the bacon, and eat them with sausage. And I had this the other night. I had this for like New Year's. That's sort of a traditional dish. It was just really good. Okay, what what I want to do here is I want to show you what the final product looks like. That's what they always do on food television. And so anyway, that's it. That is the Mark 1 Mod 2 modified Święconka soup here. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to sit down, I'm going to eat this, and then we're going to watch this next segment together, okay? All right. Oh, this is the collection of stuff that my parents had. This is a wedding photograph of my mom and my dad right over there. And let's see here. Their 25th anniversary plate. Picture of my dad both as a baby, as you can see right there. Get a close up there. All right. And then this is him when he was in the Army. That over there is the flag that they gave me when he died, or they gave us, I should say, my brother and myself. Let's see. This over here is the wedding picture of my mother, right there. That was Bernice Bortko. One of the, at the funeral mass for my dad, my brother, of course, said the mass, and one of the things that when he was giving the eulogy and he was talking about the family was he said, you know, the marriage of the Bortkos and the Bukatys were a match that was made in heaven. He said, the Bortkos were never wrong and the Bukatys were always right. And it just, boy, that is a perfect description of how they are too here. Oh, a couple of other books that I recently got here. Greek cookbook here, and then Foods of the World, and then a juicing book over here. Everything was on sale. Let me turn off some of the lights in here. Got that. In just a little bit, we're going to clean up that, or not clean up, we're going to blend and puree the Indian cauliflower soup. A lot of Polish stuff in this house. And let's see here. What was I going to show you? That was my fax machine that I had in one of my offices. And this is these are my watercolors right over here. I met this one lady who was had been a watercolor artist, but she started to get Alzheimer's, and I met with her husband and was talking with him and suggested that maybe if I were to come and visit her and ask her to give me lessons on how to do watercolor painting, that it might help provide a little bit of therapy for her. And so we did that for a while, but then her health got worse, and it didn't work out anymore, and we had to stop doing it. Somewhere, if I can find it, and I don't know where it is right now, I went into the hospital. I thought I had a heart attack, and while I was in there, I started to draw again, something that I hadn't done for a long time, and I started doing some watercolors, and if I can find it, I'll show you what it looked like from my laying in my bed in my room and in the emergency room. I want to show you this. I had this hanging in my office, and what this is this huge coal crane. And when I was working up in Macon, Missouri, which is about 30-40 miles south of the Missouri-Iowa border, I saw this photograph and I was able to get a copy. But this thing is incredible. Look at this. It's 12 stories high, has 3 half-inch cables. It's a half track that fits on 40, or what is this? A half a track fits on a 45-foot flat bed. It's all air and electric. It had a galley on there and a sleeping section and a devil's crow's nest. You could drive a trailer truck and a trailer 60 feet in length in the bucket. It would load 5 trucks with 1 bucket full, and there were three of these in Lufkin, Texas. It takes 6 hours for this to move 1 inch. It has a 16-man crew that lives on it for 7 days. And I don't know what this D and N are, but maybe one's 4 on and 4 off or something. I don't know. But anyway, 4 of them were mechanics. But I really like that here. I don't know why, just because my name is David. And, well, there's my name too, right there. That's me. And I got this, this is when I was attending a Bible study fellowship meeting. I used to wear that. Wish I knew where those drawings were. What happened here, you're probably looking at all this stuff and thinking, my God, what a mess. Well, it is. And it's driving me nuts. What happened is that I started to tell you about my dad dying on Thanksgiving morning. I had gone to Sedalia. I had come home that evening, and I decided not to go to visit my father. He was in the hospital, and he had been there for like about 2 weeks. And so, oh look, here comes Casey. And so I got in late that night, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go. And if I had, then that would have been the last time that I had seen my father before he died. So they called and told me that he had died. And so I was living at home with my mother because she had just come out of a nursing home, and I brought her back into the house. She had fallen and had broken, she had broken her hip and fell, and that's why she ended up. That was the 3rd broken hip she had, and this time before she was just a valiant trooper, and she would fight anything and do anything that the docs told her to, and this time it was like somebody took a 2x4 and they just smashed her across the head, and she just never did recover from that. And I brought her back, and I lived with her for a year here, and she was home for a week when my dad died. And so I took care of her, and then my brother called. Or actually, he called frequently, but he wanted her to come out and live with him because I was gone almost all the day long, and the only thing that she did was to sit in front of the TV and watch Emerald Lagasse cook food, and she didn't even eat very much. Here's some Polish, I think this is like straw art or something. These little things here are different pieces of straw or wheat or something like that, and they've make them into figurines. There's one there. It's like a Polish dancer. What do we got here? Gowalski, whatever that means. I am not the Polish person in the family. My brother is. Obviously, since he graduated from seminary in Poland, he was able to speak Polish, but I never was. And here's one more right there. Okay. And here we are. Well, anyway, what had happened is that Mom went to live with Larry, and I stayed here in the house myself, and so I just she died on the 13th of October last year, so it's been about 14 months now, and as a result of that, when I moved into the house, I had all of her stuff, all of my dad's stuff, and I was trying to move the stuff that I had, and so far I've got about 3/4 of my stuff here in the house. And this year has it's really been an incredibly bad year. I started to go through a real state of depression, and I had gone through a couple of grief seminars and things like that, and basically the house just turned to shit. And I used to be a pretty fastidious individual, and had everything pretty neat and clean, but now I'd come home and I'd just walk through this and I'd throw something down, and I got to the point of where I was never really able to get this stuff ever done. I would I'd get one room clean, and then it would get messy again, and I kept trying to do this, and it was like this weekend, for about the 437th time, I was going to clean the house, but I got sidetracked making Indian cauliflower potato soup and driving all over town to get the ingredients for it. It needed black mustard seeds and coriander and turmeric, and some of these things I had, but I didn't have any black mustard seeds, so I went over to this grocery store today to get that, but all they had was yellow and brown, so I bought that. I bought some brown ones, came home, and then I found a different recipe that didn't even call for them, so didn't have to use them, but I did end up having the fresh coriander and the turmeric and then the cumin. So anyway, if you haven't noticed, I get easily sidetracked here. Sort of been a condition that I've lived with here most of my life. I just take these varying paths before I ever get back to the other one. When I was taking my first grief session, I was doing it with this lady who was she was a specialist in dealing with children who had a death occur, either of a sibling or of a parent, or they themselves were going to soon die. And she was, her name was Paige Stanfield Myers, and she was very good. And I ended up developing a really warm and close relationship with this lady. During the times that we were together for the therapy sessions, she says, you know, I have never met anybody like you. She says, you take all of these different stories that go in different directions, but then you bring everything together in a rather coherent summation. And she says, I've never seen anything like that before. So I thought, well, thank you. That was nice. But anyway, what has happened here is that I've ended up going through the state of depression, and just things really just changed dramatically in my life. On my 60th birthday, I decided to jump out of a perfectly good airplane and make my first parachute jump, something that I'd wanted to do all of my life, and I finally got around to doing that. And it was kind of like that when I got done, like that Peggy Lee song from years ago, Is That All There Is? And I jumped out. I did a tandem jump because I didn't want to spend 8 hours going through a air-ground school just to do it myself, and I wanted to see if this was something that I really wanted to do much of. So I did that, and went tumbling through the air. We went up in a Cessna 150 that had all the seats taken out except for the pilot's seat, and stood out there on the edge of the strut holding onto the wing and looking at 17,000 feet of space before the Earth occurred. And we said 1, 2, 3, and then we were off, and we tumbled through space. And it was very noisy, a lot of wind noise going through there. And we sort of did some free fall for a while, and then we opened up the chute, and then as we started to float down, everything just became extremely quiet. So the whole thing lasted like about maybe 4 minutes at the most. And it cost about, I think it was maybe like $125 or $150, something like that. But I did it, and it's something I'd always wanted to do. Then the next year I went up into a paracopter, which is really neat, and what I'll do is I'll show you one of those here. I just came across that tape not too long ago, and you'll find this, well, I hope you'll find it interesting. I did. And then the next year, I think this was when I turned 62, I did something else that I'd always wanted to do, and that was to buy a motorcycle. So that's what's out there in the yard. The battery's about wearing down on this thing, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook this up, get it recharged, and while it's doing that, I'm going to play you the tape of my paracopter ride. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, when, so that's just attached over to the harness right there.
Right. It's actually attached up front. See the black straps?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it's attached to.
Okay. Is it ever a problem to get this thing tangled up?
Not really. Not really. And I'll show you why.
Okay.
Come in and you manually take your lines and you get them worked out of the way. You kind of make sure that they're not tangled.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like a mess, but it really isn't. When you approach a job, I always approach it with the idea that it's not the overall picture. You take small parts of it. What I mean is, here's the first set of lines. See how they just kind of fall apart?
Okay.
Nice, leather out nice and easy.
Okay.
Then the secondary set of lines, you can't really do that with them, but what you want to make sure of is there's not a big rat nest, if you will. You want to make sure that they will look like they'll come apart as soon as you take off.
Okay.
The nice thing about a powered parachute is your wing is totally flying, and it's become airborne before you ever do. So if there's a problem after it comes up, you'll see it.
Right.
Stop and take care of it before it ends. And we're just doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, it's your turn now.
All right.
right, we're ready to build the fire in the engine.
That sounds good. Okay, let me...
Clear the prop.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Alrighty.
Now ease up, you don't outrun me.
Okay.
One last check. Boy, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, that was. Didn't even see any, Sue. I didn't. That's true. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's only in your head. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna dig.
Oh, great.
You see, he's
Yeah.
floating. He loves to do that.
Yeah, I was asking him about that.
He loves to do that. Because he'll be out here flying and they'll say, oh, well, Slade's not flying, he's on the ground. Well, he sneaks in. He likes to get way up there.
I think I would like to do that too.
I'm wondering if I ought to move that. He can get pretty close to where he thinks. It's like, look, Ma, no hands. Isn't it? Isn't that something?
Yes, that is. That's great.
Perfect ending.
Yes, it is. I'm so glad he did that.
Now, I will admit, it took me several hours before I had the guts to do that.
Well,
Like, you know, reach down and turn that switch off. It takes
well, you got to be confident about what you're doing when you're ready to do it.
That's right, yeah. But when you do it, after you do it once, it gets in your blood. You got to do it again and again.
I would believe that.
Because it's just like when you're free fire, when you're coming down, no noise.
Yes.
Nice. The problem with today with the winds, you had to really concentrate on making sure you're going to land where you wanted to. But at the same time, if I would have gotten into trouble, flip the switch and turn the key.
Right, yeah, and you can always go back on.
That's right.
I guess effectively you could do that from any altitude, so if you wanted to go up to 10,000 or 9,000 and just sort of sail about.
Yeah, you can do that. I've heard of guys that's done that in the past.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that'll happen when you're that high and it takes so long to come down, let's say you get down to a couple of 100 feet, you're not where you want to be, you know, you're not making your runway.
Right.
The engine may be cool enough where you may have to prime it to get it to start.
Okay.
And to prime it, the primer's back here.
Right. I saw that.
So, you know, if your engine doesn't fire, you know, don't wait till the last minute, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But
Well,
that's basically it in a nutshell.
well, that worked.
Its weight in dust mites, dead dust mite carcasses, and even worse, dust mite droppings. Makes you want to just jump back into bed, doesn't it? Guess what the biggest problem is, folks? It's those droppings. Our average little dust mite friend is leaving 20 little mementos behind per day. And those little mementos, there are 75 million people in this country who are allergic to them. It's amazing. 75 million of us. It's been called the single most allergic substance in a house.
Are you kitty so cute there, huh? Yes, you are. Look at that. You just both there right by each other, loving one another. Yes, look at kitties. Happy kitties, happy kitties. Say, hello, kitties. Hello. Hello. Can you wave hi? Can you wave hi? Huh? Say hi. Say hi to the people. Casey. Gigi. Gigi. Come on, Gigi. Yep. Okay, you ready? Remember? That's what Count Floyd used to do. Yes, on Monster Chiller Hall Theater. Yes. What? Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, great. Okay.
Hi, Mike Grillwick. This is for you.
You gotta get down lower here, Ellen, when you go say hi. There you go. Wait.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, this is too good. I'm gonna like this. Okay, do we have your partial someplace?
Right here.
Okay, let me. I want to look at that.
You do that, and I'm gonna.
It's like
Do you have any little composites? I'm gonna build it up. Some composites so it fits, and then have lots of core like that. And put it back in there for just a second. Wow. Ooh, look at that. Cool. Turn towards me a little bit. You know, I already built that up. I need to.
So excited. We'll have to call him next
I'm going to add just a little to that. Just build it up just a tad. I heard the news last night that some kid found out there was a gun along the fence for the patties, and I thought, first thing I thought was those dadgum Heath kids, and then I thought Russell kids, and then I thought, yeah, they weren't there. But I thought, oh my gosh, can you imagine that? Because I'd never heard anything like that before at Peppermint Patties. Well, I'd be freaking out now. I wouldn't want to be Peppermint Patties and have to worry now about nobody that's going to want to come to their... I mean, I'd be leery about bringing my kid there now. I'm kind of clean while it's... Give me that real quick. Hey, this is just like on the educational videos.
Mm-hmm.
All these Hollywood dentists that they can't do dental work, but they sell videos about how to do stuff. You've probably seen that with guys with the hearing aids, all the gurus, and they're usually guys that aren't very good. So they make videos and sell those. There and keep my sensor on. Almost got it. There we go. Now we're busy. Okay. Thing smile, you're on candid camera.
Nice.
Okay. Get it all over his gum too.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'll turn towards me and I'll explain it as I'm going.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is putting glycerin on the tooth, and that makes it a little tacky, so this powder will stick. I need you to open real big, and then that way I can get get a picture with a powder coated, where everything's powder coated and kind of white. That gives me a before picture, and then I'll do this again. It's actually, boy, that puts out a lot of powder, doesn't it? I'm using a little different mechanism for doing this. Uh-oh. I need correlation crown and tooth number 6. That's 6, or 11, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank goodness I can't count and hit the middle one. There we go. And I'm going to take a before picture of it. I'll try to. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to prep it. And Bobby said, oh, I'd started in and you'd have gone, ouch, ouch. But that scanning infrared laser takes a picture and I can just see it better. Here we go. side. Sorry, I know that tape's kind of bad. You weren't gonna wear that shirt to work later anyway, were you? I guess I don't. Getting all messy here. I can take that out of the way too, something like that. Now let me get good and we'll shape it down. Gotta be red.
Yeah.
I'll do a little more. I can't do all of it. Sorry. Get off there. Okay, let me just measure that. Just a little more. It off real good. Alrighty, that's nice. Take a picture now. Get another picture. This is called a powder meister. And it shoots titanium dioxide onto the tooth. That's the same pigment that is in aspirin or powdered sugar donut. It just doesn't have all the sugar. It doesn't have the salicylic acid of the aspirin. get glycerin on there, then we'll powder and take another picture. And everybody gets it back together. And you know what? Since I don't need the laser anymore, and you look handsome in those glasses, but I feel very uncomfortable that I look pretty strange. So I'm going to take these. And then if you click on that top icon, Bobby, you should be good to go here in a bit.
They keep you all lined up so you can just yak with each other.
That's right. That's right. You got that right. Right. David. Yeah, let's see here. What we get? I'm just gonna try this and let's see. I got the angulation right, surely. One of those will work. Just stay open real big kind of David. If the computer likes you, maybe it looks like it's doing something. Spin this around, make sure that looks okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Now, your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to set up here and rinse out. And then you get to take a break while I mess with the computer for a while.
Well, good. Can I take some pictures of what your computer's doing?
Sure. You can.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
I'm thickening it at a few spots where I don't think it'll alter the fit.
Uh-huh.
You know, where the partial fits to it, where it's just a little bit thin. It's probably, I say probably thin, probably not really. I'm just paranoid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good now. Sure, we're getting there. Okay, let's, I need you to sit down, Dave. I gotta take, well, let me look and see what shade we did on those others. That'd probably...
C3.
C3, that'd probably be, I'll probably do the 300 on the Pro Cab then.
With color shade?
Right. So it's going to take a 14. Well, that's because it's so long. Okay. Okay, you can bring your camera with you.
Good. Okay.
Follow me. Forever immortalized.
That's right.
I'm on TV.
Okay. In no way.
A traditional crown would have a gold understructure and porcelain layered on it in a slurry like sand. If you've ever seen glass or porcelain work done, fired in a high heat oven, it causes it to melt and collapse. But the strength of that is like coal. Okay, but these blocks are ceramic, but they're made under, they're cured under pressure, so it's like, the consistency of these is like a diamond. I mean, that's the strength differential. That's why you don't need metal underneath it. Okay, so I picked a shade out, and then the computer told me what size block I need, so now I just have to find one, and there it is. He's a ProCAD 300 shade, and it's a 14 block. Usually big molars are what the 14 block does, and the reason we have to use a bigger block on this is because the tooth, it'll cut it this way, so it'll grind a lot of this off, but it's because the tooth is so long, you know, from the gum line to the tip of the tooth. So we've got to use a real big block.
Okay, so this is the computerized milling machine.
This is the computerized milling machine. The guys that designed this are both dentists that were engineers before they became dentists. One is from Switzerland, and one is from, I think it's Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The older guy from Switzerland is like 67. The guy from Pennsylvania is like 60. And yes, they are multi-millionaires from many times over with this technology. They use this in orthopedics for milling artificial hip and knee joints also. Those guys are general dentists, like me, and they both still work in their offices, like me, because they like being dentists.
Yeah.
Now I think, well, okay, we got to go back and turn on back at the other computer. And then we'll come back and watch this.
All right.
Did I put it in the, is this the old one? Oh, I was thinking I might have put it in the wrong chamber. Okay, now. Now, initially when it starts to mill, it'll be hard to see what it's doing because of all the water and the spray. But as it gets into it, if you focus real good, you can kind of see it.
Okay.
And it'll tell us how long it's going to take here in just a minute. You can hear the instruments being positioned, and it says they are, and please wait. Now it says we can start. So it's going to take it 15 minutes and 40 seconds. If the diamond, one of the diamonds doesn't break.
Okay.
Which, like any piece of equipment, those diamonds are only good for so many units, and sometimes they'll do 20, sometimes 40, sometimes 16, because every unit's different and it requires more precise milling. But all that information is digitized and it sends it to that other computer, and it'll mill it an exact replication. And everything we have here is a topographical scan, because this computer head here there's 3 infrared lasers inside of that don't take a picture. It takes a topographical scan. It is exact.
Okay.
And when you put these in, I bonded 2 of these yesterday, and we've had it a year and a half, and every time I do, I get them in, get them polished, get the patient ready to go, and then I look at them one more time and I just go, wow. I mean, they look that good. Now this one is kind of tricky because it's not only got to fit here, it's got to fit the partial clasp going over it. And that's why I didn't diddle with what the computer gave me too much. Because if I played with it too much, I'd probably create a lot of contours or undercuts, and the partial wouldn't go down. Then I'd have to mess with the partial.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to do that anyway. But this crown, if we'd have done it the traditional method, we'd have taken impression, put the goo in, and then around the prep, and then we'd have to put your partial back in, then more goo, and then the tray, and then you bite into it, and then I'd be taking that partial for 4 or 5 days, because they'd have to wax and do the lab work to make the partial clasp fit over that tube. So I'd have to have the partial in the impression, and so that makes this nice because you don't have to do without all your teeth.
Absolutely.
Because that could be embarrassing sometimes.
Certainly could be.
So we can go. Let's go look at it. It's, I don't know how much we'll be able to see yet. But. Okay, what's this?
I have to tell you this. I'd have to tell you the story about Alan when he was on TV.
The dancing dentist.
I'd like you to meet my one of my guest stars. This is Steve Martin, the wild crazy guy.
I have to tell the story about the one time Alan was on TV. It's when I think it was an old shoe store, closed. The big name shoe store in Kansas City closed.
Yeah.
And they brought all the shoes up to this place up 75th and Neiman, one of the big stores up there. And it was on the news, and they said such and such is going to be closing after 75 years in Kansas City. And all of a sudden it comes on, and they're showing all the people walking around shopping. And who's dead center in the middle of the screen but Alan, holding one package of shoes. He's kind of shopping this way. And all of a sudden he turns around like this, and you realize the camera's on him, and he's like,
It was. And there were 8 zillion people, and they had the aisles about 3 feet apart.
Well, Linda said you were on Wizzo. That's what she
Yeah, I was on Wizzo too.
I remember Wizzo.
Ray and all of it.
That one never came out. It's noisy in here.
Okay.
Steve's got one going too.
Okay.
If this is yours, you can probably see it better through here. If you can get your camera down that low. The top of the tooth is this way. The underside of the tooth is this way. The facial side is this way, and the tongue side is this way. And it mills it, boom, exactly like it's designed. It's just unbelievably accurate. Now, you can't really see a lot. So we get a few more minutes into it, and you'll be able to see it. It's really neat.
Okay.
That guy in Switzerland, when he developed this, and they worked on this technology about 12 or 15 years ago. Is when they started it. But he would put these things out in his waiting room so people could just, and I've seen pictures in his waiting room, people are just sitting there. And the first ones of these I did, I sat here, I just sat here like this. It's just fascinating that it can do that.
Excuse me.
Smile, you're on camera. Hey, how you doing?
He's coming back on here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because this is so loud and I feel like I'm yelling.
That's only because you are.
Sometime, that's the only drawback. It's kind of noisy. And like if you got a patient sitting in one of these closer chairs and it's not their deal, they're going, what the heck is that? But so we'd like to have a place, where we could do it, but we need more storage and we need a bigger lab. And so, but having to pay for these first, we're going to have to, it'll be a couple of years before we can, we'd like to put a bigger lab down that way and have to expand a little bit.
Add on to the building?
We've also got a water problem with the asphalt out back. Comes this way in the water. There's been times where with the little 4-inch PVC drain floods up with leaves. I came up here once this fall and there was water within about like that of the back door and going through the under the back door because it was coming over the sidewalk. And, starting to get through. All we can do is let it go until it's done. It's probably about 8 or 9 more minutes. All right. Dr. David. One of the neat things about this is because it's porcelain, you don't have the metal, so you don't have to use opaque porcelain to cover up the metal. Because of that, you get better light optics.
Okay.
Translucency and opalescence, fluorescence, where basically the source and reflection are really similar to natural enamel. Also, it has natural, the compression and tensile strengths are very similar to natural tooth structure. We'll etch the inside of that, and we'll etch the tooth. We'll use basically some really expensive dental super glue or binding material to bond those two surfaces together. When it gets down where it's it's almost done. It's really refining that down and cut it down to a little screw and cut it off. But at this stage, you're like, oh, hurry up.
Okay, now, at this point, all it's done is just the outside, right?
No, it's done the inside too.
Oh, it has?
Yeah, you just can't see that. It's spun around. No, it doesn't. The inside is in here. It's milled the internal pit also as it went across the block.
Really?
You know, he'll have it out there in a little bit. And then now these are called CEREC. It's like lasers. CEREC stands for Computer Aesthetic Restoration Emitted. Well, I don't remember what these words are.
Something. All right, that's
what it was. That's what it said. It's chairside aesthetic restoration emitted computer or something like that. But we say once you've had one of these, you become a Cerekian warrior. You're a Cerekian. I'll give you a little stub of what's left of that.
okay.
And when I had some, I was going to drill little holes in the stubs and make a necklace and have like bear claws. So I'd be this first-class Cerekian king or something. I'd be such a cool Cerekian warrior.
Part of your crowning achievement, huh?
Right, so I thought I could wear that, you know, like in Boy Scouts, they wear those neck deals with all the beads.
Yes, you could get your merit badge.
I could have my CEREC merit badge. I don't know what that's it. Now it's doing the slice off, but it's already has come loose.
Okay.
But we just let it run through because we found that's easier than stopping it here and trying to reset it. It just takes a few seconds. And the crown is actually down in the slurry.
Okay.
There. So that you might take a picture of that later, or
okay,
here in a minute, just to see. Let me take this out. But that's what's left of the block, and you can see I was going to drill holes through those and put those on my necklace, but never got around to it now.
What shade did you choose?
Get all the muck off of it. You can see the crown there, and then it's milled the underside. And that'll be an exact fit. Now I'm going to have to trim it and polish it. It's a little rough in a few spots. But it looks pretty good. Now Steve's is cut off, so he can show you what a molar is. Actually a molar. Maybe. Well, his has got a post inside of it and everything, so it'll fit down inside the tooth. Tooth had a root canal, so that's great. Stick that there so you can see it.
Top side.
See? I mean, that shows all the occlusal anatomy and the grooves and how it makes that, and the underside, it's going to fit down inside the tooth because that tooth had a root canal.
Okay.
And it mills the post and core as well as the crown all together, and they fit precisely.
Jeez.
So.
Okay, now it's recording.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Red light.
Oh, red light.
Yeah.
Oh, she's watching. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
She's watching. What's this? Okay, watch it go. Hi, Bobby. Hi. Hi there. How are you, Bobby? Are you zooming in on my... Okay.
Okay.
David, would you quit being such a joker?
All right. Well, Alan, it's just in my nature. I can't help it.
You and your disposable prophy angle buddies.
Really? Have you seen him lately?
You mean your cousin?
Yeah.
Let's see. It was a couple months ago, probably. I think it was last fall. Cleaned his teeth, I remember. Turned this a little bit. And I saw him in the parking lot of the, I think it was this Walmart grocery store up here at 75th and, what do you call it, 75th and Neiman up here. There's a Walmart grocery store.
Oh, okay.
It's not a Walmart, it's just a Walmart grocery store.
Uh-huh.
They took over an old store that used to be an A&P way back when. And I saw him driving through the parking lot one time. He didn't see me though. Can I turn this away? And that's just been a couple weeks ago probably.
I'll just move away.
One time he was with this blonde, this has been, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. This really cute blonde who was in the parking lot of the tile place right up here where the giant fabrics is and all that. And I was making this weird face. I saw him, he was just going slow in the parking lot, and I was kind of, and he gets right up here, and he's driving looking that way, and this gal in the patch sees me, and she looks over like, who the heck is that weirdo? And he's driving, and he's over here, and finally she gets him to turn and look, and he's just about right. But she didn't know me from Boo, you know, and I don't know who it was. It was like some gal, she brined the office a couple times when, but
yeah, that's his girlfriend.
yeah, so it was, and then I met her once after that. See now, I've got it on there and it just fits here really great. I'm gonna have to put the partial on and do a little adjusting, but it fits peripherally just dynamite, and I'll have to do a little contouring probably, but that's pretty good. The tissue looks a little beat up because I used a laser, but as I say, because we laced it and didn't cut it, it'll heal a lot faster and won't be nearly as sore. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of polishing in a couple spots.
Are you able to get some good close-ups on this now, Bobby?
Barely. I'm not real close because of the angle.
Okay, good.
Keeps moving on me.
Yeah, it's a moving target. That probably doesn't help.
I was down in Buffalo yesterday, and I ended up calling this one guy who has come in to see me about a hearing aid. And talked with his secretary, and she said, well, you know, who is this? And I said, well, this is Dave Bukaty. And she said, my daughter is dating a guy by the name of Dave Bukaty.
Dave, that you cradle robbery is?
Really? And he lives down there in Buffalo. And
no kidding.
Yeah, his father works like for the power plant up in Racine. So she gave me his phone number, and I'm going to give him a call.
That's really weird.
Find out if you're related?
Yeah, we have to be.
I would think.
Yeah. And then you were telling me about
Greg Bukaty, married to Vicky Sucklish, or well, I'm not sure if they're married or not, but it's one of those significant other deals. They're both wonderful people, but okay, just a little more to go.
They might have to adjust a little bit, you know, once we get it all the way
It's kind of weird. Greg Bukaty, I've only known him for probably 12 years now, but and he's a couple of years older than I am. And Vicky's a couple of years younger. I just turned 50.
Okay.
If I was a gal and I had a guy like Greg Bukaty proposing me, I'd have said I'd do as fast as I could. But he and Vicky she just doesn't, just the principle of doesn't want to be married. Wants to, I'm an independent woman and I'm gonna, you know. But they've been a common law married for quite a while. But it's funny to talk to her mom and dad about that.
I caught that on film.
Good.
Caught me catching it. I'm talking about Vicky and Greg. Let's see here, a little bit there, a little bit there. It's catching right there.
I am highly respectful of your ability to, when you look at these things, know exactly what you're doing, you know, because I will think about this when I'm modifying the hearing aid for somebody.
When I think back, when I was in dental school, for instance, and you're sitting and doing this, you're thinking, how in the heck am I going to figure this out?
Yeah.
How do you ever learn where you're supposed to do this? I'm going to quit. Just got it down there, but I've got just a little high on this clasp contour. Because I actually added a little bit more to bulk up that contour, and just about got it, but not quite. Got to take a little more in a couple of areas. Okay. Oh, thank goodness you're not going to Butler today. But the snow's coming. Do you have a place you could stay down there if you got?
Well, there's obviously motels, you know.
You could just go down there one day a week?
Yeah, I go down in the morning and then come back in the evening. A lady that I had to stop and see last night on the platter, that she's 95 and hasn't been wearing her hearing aids and kind of forgot how things are going, and so I went down to work with her. So.
This is real close to dropping in there, but let me see. There, and right. Bobby, could you give me some 3-pronged pliers too?
I'm going to have to...
Pretty please.
Dave, I'm going to have to put this back on the tripod. So I'm far from getting me.
I'm thinking it probably was... I'm thinking last September, October when he was in the house.
Yep, I got it. Design, virtual ground design, not behind that one.
As with anything.
But as you can attest, the body argues more with sports than it does with community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just on it.
Just work out a little bit. Right there. Just about ready to slide in there. Not quite. Just kind of bite down for me, just look at something here. Well, that isn't too bad there, open real big. That is real close. Take it out one more time. Pretty close. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to just polishing this and then we'll add.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, right now we've got a hydrofluoric acid gel inside the tooth, and that etches the glass internally. And then we'll put some of our bonding materials on that. Then we'll use another material that will prime and etch the tooth and the post surface. And then we'll use another material that will then bond those two etched prime surfaces together. Then we will cure that, and it'll be good to go.
And that with the UV light?
Well, it's a visible light, but it's toward the ultraviolet end of the spectrum. It's a bright blue light that we kind of use that Mr. Camera, you'll see in a couple of minutes.
Okay, all right.
So now I'll show it to you so I get a little dry.
You like to hit something ahead of time?
So I don't know if you can see down inside of that where it's kind of a chalky white. That's where that porcelain is etched internally. And I'm just heat drying it now, desiccating it to get rid of every last little bit of moisture. Because of course that will interfere with the bond of everything else. Let's see, what time is it? 10:15, so we're doing not bad. David, I'm about where I need you to get in the chair.
Okay, we'll do it.
There we go.
Okay.
Dry that really good. Now this has an etching bonding material inside of it that is kind of ooey and gooey and will work on the tooth. I'm going to cure it in there, I think, first. It seats nicely. It seats real good. I'm going to get that initial cure. If you bite anybody with that thing, it's going to hurt because my finger is killing me. Ouch. I want to get some of that excess off here first. We get some of that excess off there first, because if we cure it too much, it won't come off real easy. As a matter of fact, it will come off like be a pain to get off. So if we can cure up that. Now, I'm going to get that piece out of the way, then I'm going to put this in. And I'm going to cure it all the way. And Bobby, this thing is acting up like the other one did. It's going off. We're just not getting it into the thing to recharge, or I don't know what the deal is. I think I've got enough here, because I'm going to have to hit it a bunch. What's the switch look like on it? Relative to the other teeth. And I'm going to pull that out. Turn this back on. Turn this way a little bit. And we're just going to polish it real good. And then I'm going to look down for those. Some polishing devices, but this is a real fine, it's a ceramic glass diamond impregnated slurry that we use to put a real fine polish on it.
That might be part of it.
It's kind of like using a wet sandpaper, if you will. You know, a real fine finish sandpaper, obviously. Because if it wasn't glass or diamond, it wouldn't cut the glass, it wouldn't polish it at all. Looks like a little innocuous white powder, you know, we just mix a little water with it, but you wouldn't want to eat the stuff. The titanium dioxide that we sprayed on before, that stuff wouldn't hurt you. This stuff, if you ate a lot of it, probably a little bit wouldn't hurt you, but Now, it's kind of weird because you're only looking at 2 cuspids there. But if you look real close, you won't be able to tell looking on the camera. I'm going to take that out.
Okay, it's only the he had for Marshall.
For Bjorn? Sure. That tooth has better translucency, whereas this looks a little chalkier. And when you get in the mirror at home, you can actually compare the two.
Okay.
And it's a real fine line there, but that when at some point in time with this tooth over here, we'll work on this. Need to reline it. It kind of gives a little. Plus, if you look real close, it doesn't ride on the ridge real good over there. That's where it gives a little. Plus the clasp, when I reline it, I'm going to add a clasp to this.
Okay.
Because that clasp is old and kind of brittle, and it snapped off on me, and I'll re-add that clasp for you. But we can do that when we reline it without any problem at all.
Okay.
But that fits really, really good now. I'm gonna touch it up here, let you rinse out, because your mouth's probably ready for that.
Okay, all right.
We use a bonding material that's light cured, and it's also base catalyst cured, because Bobby mixed it and all that. So, and if you didn't light cure it, it'd be set in about an hour to an hour and a half. In a traditional crown, we bond it on, but because it's got the metal, we can't light cure it, so you just have to rely on the chemical cure. But because of this, it's translucent, we can zap it with that light, bam, and it's cured. 100%. So the only problem now is a lot of people would say, well, you can eat what you want. The only problem will be your lips numb, so you might
do that.
You might bite on your lip, but the ability to pull it off, I mean, it's cured and it's on there. I had one that kind of chipped and cracked, and it was one that it was kind of a weird deal. It probably feels different than it did.
It does, yeah.
It probably feels sharper.
It does.
So you might be careful there. But this guy, it was something that I did, and I won't go into that, but because I've had 2 of them crack in a year and a half, and but it was something that I did on the prep design. But this guy had a root canal, so it was like Steve's. It had a crown over it with a big hump post that went down inside the tooth. And so it wasn't hurting, it didn't bother him. He just wanted me to smooth off where the little edge had chipped and leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to do it over completely because I want it to be exactly right. And because he'd had it in there, I don't know, a couple months. And an old crown, you can cut a slice in it and put an instrument in, and it'll release a hydrostatic pressure, and it'll just pop off.
Okay.
So I grew through that the post and went like that, and it cracked and broke parts of it, but it was bonded on, so it wouldn't just pop off. So I had to grind, and the tooth was numb because it had a root canal, so it didn't hurt or anything. But it took me 15 minutes with a high-speed diamond burr to grind all that off because it was bonded, and I was like, wow. Because usually you can get them to pop and give a little bit, and once you get it started, it'll break the seal. But this, it was totally bonded, and just unbelievably hard to get off. And so he said if it ever cracks again, he's just going to have me polish it. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad, but and there was something. It wasn't the materials. It was in my prep design. I did something that. Where basically I left it a little too thin, and he had this tooth was one I made, but he had a tooth up above that was positioned like that.
Yeah.
So he had this customs hanging way down. It was like a splitting wedge right here.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was too thin. So what I did, I actually prepped that down a little bit, plus I ground a little bit of that tooth that had rotated and made it flatter. And that's so it wouldn't be like a splitting wedge right there.
Right, so it had a better contact.
Right, and so it shouldn't, to balance out the contact better. And that was my problem. I just didn't catch it the first time. But we got it fixed, and he's all right. Now, David's got a bunch of polish all over his face, and he looks really funny.
Here, let me see here. How funny does David look?
Yeah,
oh, geez.
He looks more funny than he usually does.
I really do look funny.
And I don't know what I got on my face either, but I probably got splatters all over me too. But Yeah, you're better looking.
Good.
Now, if you smile real big, and if you look at the two cuspids, you can see that that one has better translucency. It just looks more natural. And that's a fine line. You might not be able to tell or really see, but if you really when you get home, get in front of the mirror.
Okay.
And you can take the parcel out, you can see just a little bit of differential in how the tooth, just the way they look. And you'll see that the other one is a little more opaque, and this new one is more translucent. And the difference is it just looks a little more alive. It jumps out at you just a little more, whereas this one is kind of a little more dead. And in artist terms, it means that the one we just did has a little more value.
Okay.
Color value, which is a term that artists like to use. And that just makes the colors are the same, but this one's just a little deader, and this one just pops a little more, comes out actually a little more, even though they're the same color. But because this has more value, it's just a little more intense. And unless you've studied optics or ceramics or the physical science of chroma and color values and whatnot, it's a hard term to understand, but you can just kind of see that. It's a real fine line, and most people
would not even normally
know. So anyway, thank you. My star. You want my autograph?
Yes, please. Okay, my dear. Now,
What do you need to know?
now it's time for the painful part.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so what do we do here now at this point?
I got your insurance in,
Okay.
and I'll submit it, and usually they'll pay about 50%.
Okay,
And so your portion will be around $400.
okay, so you'll send me a bill with that.
And we don't do in-office financing anymore. What we do is go through Wells Fargo, and you can get money through them, and it's interest-free up to 6 months.
Oh, okay,
So it doesn't cost you a thing.
good.
So, you think you'd be interested in doing that? And all we have to do is fill out the paperwork, I fax it over, and
I may do that, let me see, or I just may pay it. We'll see how it works out.
well, just wait until you hear from me when I get your insurance back.
That sounds good.
All right.
Linda, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
All right.
Take care, Dave.
Okay.
Bye.
Marilyn,
Yes.
we're going, dear. Thank you.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.
Before, like he wasn't a nice guy, and now he's saying,